Racing makes its annual appearance at Happy Valley on Wednesday night. Welcome into Racing to Win. This is Hong Kong's twice weekly preview show. Joined in the studio today by Paul Lally and Tom Wood. And Tom, news through about 24 hours ago. A couple of new jockeys joining us in Luke Curry and Daniel Moore from Melbourne.
Yeah, and Daniel, this season in Hong Kong and Australia certainly had a breakout season. He's been able to win the couple of Group 1 races at Moonee Valley, the Moir and also the Manikato. So, look, he's had a breakout season as Daniel. He's had experience, of course, in Singapore, where he was up until probably 6 or 8 months ago, and he'll be a good fit here, no doubt, with Luke Curry.
He will indeed, and just bolsters the ranks a bit more. And Daniel can ride very light, 113, Paul.
Yeah, which is needed here, obviously, with a lot of those lightweight runners. So look, it's good. We've got a full sort of card of jockeys now, haven't we? A full roster. So it's going to be good going forward, I think.
It will indeed. Just on jockeys too, Jack Wong injured a wrist at Sha Tin on the weekend, so he's out for at least a couple of weeks. Speaking of Sha Tin, trials this morning. Tom was there. A big name appeared. His name was Golden 60. Here's his trial, and we'll hear from Vincent Ho.
Naboo Baby and Mr. Snowden is back last of all below the 400 metres. Wellington, Jumbo Fortune, Wind and Grass, Coming Patch, Golden 60 on the far side, followed by Mr. Ascendancy, and then came Naboo Baby and Mr. Snowden last. It's Wellington in front, followed second by Jumbo Fortune. Then came Golden 60. Wellington doing enough here for Alexi Bedell, and Wellington will beat Jumbo Fortune second. Golden 60, Coming Patch, Wind and Grass, Naboo Baby. Mr. Ascendancy wasn't too far away, and neither was Mr. Snowden towards the rear.
Trial very well. Happy with him. Just, main thing is just let him stretch out this morning. Have a nice little blow after the race. Been a couple of weeks, so it's good to let him do some work.
And just out of the international meeting, you feel he's on top form. Obviously, I guess you're building him up to a possible Stewards Cup. Would that be the target?
Yeah, definitely Stewards Cup, and everything is still on track. Just get him ready again, have him feel nice and fresh and happy. So.
Yeah, looked a very strong trial from him again, Paul.
Yeah, like he's just doing what he has to do, ticking over till his next race, isn't he? We saw on International Day what he can do. Look, it's hard to see anything beat him unless it's bad luck or he's really below par.
Absolutely. Coming into the season, he hadn't actually won a trial. He'd won a couple leading into the beginning of the season, but didn't win that one, but still looked pretty good.
He did indeed. Nice to see Wellington back trialling strongly down the straight as well. So that's the news of what has happened in Hong Kong. This is what is coming up on Wednesday night at the City Circuit. We do have a 9-race program on the A course. It's meeting 34 for the season. First race at 6:45. The two races we are going to focus on is the 4th, the January Cup Group 3 over the 1800 metres, and the Causeway Handicap race number 7, a Class 2 over the 1200 metres. The January Cup field, they line up this way, with the top two, Ka Ying Star and Reliable Team, both coming out of the Hong Kong Cup behind Love's Only You and the Vars behind Glory Vars in the case of Reliable Team. Fast Most Furious has placed twice at Group 3 level. Savvy 9 was last year's winner off a similar rating, 99. He's up to 100 now. Super Football gets the cheek pieces on. Sunny Star stretches back out to the 1800 metres, and Decrypt comes up in grade and will not have the blinkers on for this. So not a massive field numbers-wise, Tom, for the January Cup, but it's a really good long run down to the first turn from the 1800 metre start.
Yeah, being on the A course, they should get plenty of opportunity to sort themselves out. Ka Ying Star and Reliable Team to go forward. We saw them go forward in each of their races on International Day, Paul, but Reliable Team got involved into a little bit of a speed battle with Stay Foolish.
Yeah, and last time they actually raced together, Ka Ying Star, he missed the start slightly, so Reliable Team had it his own way and when he won. So a lot is going to depend on the start, but with Ka Ying Star drawing underneath Reliable Team, all things being equal, I don't think they'll get into a speed battle. These two horses know each other quite well, I think. Zabrowski, whatever happens, will get the perfect run behind.
All right, so that is what is going to happen as far as the speed map goes. Now we've got the previous winners here, Tom. Zach Purton, he won't be riding, but Alexi Bedell, Vincent Ho, they're both back to try and win their second cup in the last 3 years.
And of course, when Alexi rode to Simply Brilliant, just after the winning post, he actually came off. The horse stumbled and Alexi came off it. I think picked up a slight injury there. But some nice horses have won this. Dr. Jeff a couple of years ago, and All 79 broke his maiden status last season. Paul hasn't won a race since.
No, and he's back to try and defend his title, so we'll see how he goes.
Perfect way to find out exactly how 79 is going as we hear from his trainer. Nick Child was out at track work this morning with Douglas White.
Douglas, you've got 79 lining up in the January Cup, 12 months on from winning it last year. How's he been?
He's in fantastic form. He seems to come good in the winter. He's kind of had the same lead-in as last year, and Ryan Moore was very complimentary of his last run. He tended to think that he could have won if the pace was a bit stronger. He's come out of that race in really good order, so he's going into this race fit, healthy, and in good condition.
He certainly trialled, I suppose, nicely for this race. On his course and distance record, Douglas, we don't see him all that often around the valley over this trip, but he's got super form figures.
He has. I think the tempo of the valley certainly helps him. But he's at a rating now where there aren't many available races for him, so he's got to run where the rating suggests for me to enter him. But having said that, I do think that the cooler climate plays a big part.
And just obviously this was providing you with that first group win last year. Has this always been the plan to come back and try and win it again?
Yes, it has. A little bit of a different circumstance this year. He's carrying a very light weight, and it's a smaller field, but I'm really happy with his condition.
And just on obviously the handicap itself, as you say, Causeway Star up at the top, keeping plenty of them down low. Keith Young rides for you as well, so 120 pounds. He's got a lovely racing weight.
Yeah, look, Keith and I have had a lot of success together. He's ridden the horse before, so he knows him, and I certainly think that 113 pounds is going to be a big benefit.
And there it is, Douglas White, Tom, out that track work this morning. One win next to his name, 79, but it was in this race.
Yeah, and last start he actually didn't get all the rub of the green, really. He was a bit unlucky, a bit held up in the straight there. But look, he still stayed on well behind an informed horse, Paul, and far. But I think he'd probably have to lift here a little. Yeah,
look, that's the thing, is he doesn't win out of turn. He's only won once in 25 starts, but as we say, it was in this race. The weights are going to help him being a handicap, though.
But can you rely on a horse that bobs up once a year for this sort of race? I'm not sure you can.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, I've got him in, but just on a minor line.
He has placed his last two over the 1,800 metres at Happy Valley. Also, Fast Most Furious, Paul. This is a win last time over the 1,800 at Shartin. He comes to Happy Valley, where he's a two-time course and distance winner, but they were both over shorter trips than what he races on Wednesday night.
Yep, so look, he does like it at the Valley, that's one thing, but it's the 1,800 metres was just the query there. But look, the distance isn't the problem, isn't it? Because you can just see him winning nicely here. And look, he goes in for me. I think he's going well at the moment.
I left him out. The trip was the query for me. I know he had a good run last start, a good ride courtesy of Zach Purton, but just the trip did concern me. I know he's won at Happy Valley before, but 1,800 metres I think might be a stretch.
Those Valley wins were both 1,200 metres. Now we're going back 2 starts ago for these two, Tom. Reliable Team and Causeway Star. Here is 79 as well. This is the race where Reliable Team led. It's the Jockey Club Cup, and Derek Long got away with absolute murder in the lead.
Yeah, it's the race as well that Causeway Star was slow out and didn't end up getting to the front. He was up near the pace, but couldn't lead, and Reliable Team here, Paul, got away with some ridiculous sectionals, but look, he was outclassed last start. Got involved in that speed battle, which probably in the end wasn't necessary.
No, exactly, and look, obviously he's way back in trip now as well, Reliable Team. He's not one that's done well at the Valley before. It's just whether he hasn't, he's had a hard season. I think he peaked for that last start, wasn't he?
He's been sent back to the trial since failing 2 in the Vars, and here is his trial, Paul, on the all-weather. He ends up running 3rd in this.
Yeah, so look, he's on the pace as he normally does, and did what he had to do in his trial. I just thought they would have got him perfectly right for the Vars. I thought that was his grand final this year. Now, they're obviously racing here back in trip over 1,800 metres. It's not going to be a problem for him. He's a 4-time winner at the Valley and 1 time over the 1,800, but I'm not sure about him. So look, I didn't put him in there.
I put him in. He isn't on a minor line. Is a reliable team. He was up there with Astrologer throughout that trial. Nothing wrong with it. I thought he stayed on pretty well without too much pressure.
Here is his graphics card indeed, Tom, about what he's done at Happy Valley. He's a 4-time winner at the course. However, when it comes to the 1800, just one of them.
Yeah, so 1-win course and distance for him. He's a 7-time winner overall, so he's been a good money spinner for his connections. The Nova Stella syndicate, son of a reliable man. So the breeding's all there for him to get this sort of trip, Paul. And look, I think just with the way the race pans out, if he can still be there at the finish, dictate, he's a chance.
Yeah, look, he's been consistent over the time as well. But look, the trial was just okay, I thought.
Who do you like to win the January Cup?
I like Zabrowski. I think Zabrowski, look, he's had limited starts this season. He's going to get a perfect run just in behind. So he goes on top for me. Butterfield coming here to the Valley. He's been twice over the 1800 at the Valley. He's been close up second on one of those occasions as well. So the trip and distance and the course holds no fear for him. Last year's winner, 79, goes in. He has been a little bit unlucky last two, so he obviously peaks at the right time this season. And Fast Most Furious, again, barrier number 1, carried the weight last time. He's only got 116 now, so he's going well. 6, 4, 5 and 3.
Yeah, 6 on top as well. Zabrowski, I think he'll be really tough to beat. It was a pretty good run from him last start. He was caught 3 wide, no cover. He looked to improve off the end of the back straight, and look, with all that, I think he still stayed on pretty well at the end, Zabrowski. So he's on top with the lightweight. Reliable team goes in number 2. For Butterfield, he's placed course and distance in the past, and 79 just on a minor line. Was held up last start. 6, 2, 4 and 5.
And that is part number 1 of Racing to Win as we preview Wednesday night at Happy Valley. January Cup night, we're off to a break. Back to have a look at a very talented sprinters race right after this. You are watching Racing to Win. Welcome back as we move on to the preview now for race number 7. Before we get into that, some breaking news because Handsome Bobo's just come out. Race 7, number 2. Handsome Bobo is a late scratching. Causeway handicap it is. It's over the 1200 metres and Silver Fig comes off the all-weather and back onto the turf. The 2 is out. Kerpenny goes up £5 for the second on Weed the Storm. Grateful Heart jumps from the 1000 up to the 1200 metres. Hong Kong Win, the 6 horse, is on a 4-day backup. He ran in the Group 3 down the straight on the weekend. Kaying Master placed 2 from 2 in Class 2. Igniting's a last start winner course and distance. And the 10, Helene Wisdom Star, gets the blinkers on. Satanta, a first starter here in Hong Kong. So Handsome Bobo's come out now, Tom, which it could have had a pace influence on the race, but if he missed the start, he could have been back in the field. So on that, we've got pairs.
Yeah, well, he was so out last start, wasn't he, Handsome Bobo? So we don't need to worry about him here. But Igniting, Paul led off the front last start, or up was near the pace anyway. Kaying Master, does he get across from barrier 11?
Yeah, he's got the speed, hasn't he, to get across over the 1200. So I think he'll come across. I think the biggest recipient of Handsome Bobo coming out is going to be California Rad, because he's drawn 7, which is just a little bit awkward, but he should be able to get the pace to get into that spot now. I thought there was a possibility he could have been 3 wide with that. Satanta, who's the first starter here in Hong Kong, should be able to sit midfield. Shining Gem likewise, and Helene Wisdom Star, big change in distance for him, back to 1200 metres. He'll go back, I think.
All right, so that's how it pans out here. Handsome Bobo, he can lead, but as Tom said, he did miss the start last time, so we don't need to worry about him on the speed map anymore, which means one of his race rivals, Kerpenny, now has no horse on his inside, and Vincent Ho pilots for Casper Founds.
Vincent, Kerpenny is a horse that you'll jump back on board this Wednesday night. He went close last time, but sadly just couldn't quite get there.
Yeah, last time got a good throw and he got the speed up there. Probably should have led on him and he could have been closer, but it's hard to say still. But this time got good throw again, 1200 won before, so he should do it.
I guess the one horse you didn't want to see in front of you was We the South, who has a great course and distance record. Did you think you had him covered? I mean, he gave a good kick and your horse did as well.
Yeah, my horse showed a lot of speed in the 1000 too, and we'll see how the race pan out.
And just on the trip, you mentioned it there a few moments ago. Obviously, he's a 1000-metre winner on a couple of occasions. Also 112. You're drawn well. Do you think the trips come sort of alike to this horse? He's versatile in that respect.
With the good draw, definitely help. And for sure he can handle 12 from last run. It still stays on very well even after the line he kept going, so 12 is not a problem for him.
We the South now a 6-time winner after holding him off in that race. So that's Kerpenny and a couple of his opposition that he faces over the 1200 this week. One horse that wasn't in that race is this one. Paul, we'll come to you first because he's always been one of your favourites, California Rad. You said the scratching of Handsome Bobo is likely to be a plus, which means even though he's drawn wide again, he might be able to get into a nice spot.
Yeah, and look, he's been running in some really strong form races at Sha Tin. He's up against Trillion Win, Naboo Attack, California Spangle, fantastic way as well. So look, he's going to find this a little bit easier, I thought. He has won off a higher rating before. His last one was off a rating of 93. He's now down to a rating of 91. And we know he likes it here at Happy Valley. He's a 4-time winner, so a lot of positives for him.
All of those reasons why I've put him in. He's been racing in some strong races. He's got barrier 7 here. He's had 13, 12, 11, 9, 10 in his last 4 runs. So slightly better drawn here with the scratching. It opens up nicely for him, I think.
It does indeed. Now, we're also going to go back to his run 2 starts ago, Tom. They rode him back in the field this day. He's got to be a better horse when he goes forward, even from those wide draws, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think so. Look, he's been back in that last start effort. Of course, this behind California Spangle, who's been terrific. He was good at the trials again on Tuesday morning, was California Spangle, but California Rad here. He still finished off, I thought, okay. Got a little bit of hindrance in the run there, but from a better draw here, Paul, slightly better anyway, in a smaller field. I think he's going to get every chance now.
Yeah, he'll be a lot closer, I think. I think they tried to ride him back, and look, as Mark said, I think he's a lot better horse when he's not far away from the pace.
Well, he's trained by Tony Cruz, and he's not big on numbers, Paul, as far as the night goes, but you can make a case for nearly all of them, maybe with the exception of Elaine Wisdom Star with the trip being unsuitable.
Yeah, coming right back to 1200. Might be a stretch too far for him, but Tony's obviously got California Rad in the race as well. Beaver Popcorn's going to be really well supported. Kaying Star always runs his race. You're My Everything back to 1200. Champion Dragon's looked good in his 2 starts here.
He has. I quite like You're My Everything. He might come up an okay price too, considering they tried him over ground last start but didn't quite finish the race off.
And Champion Dragon makes his Happy Valley debut. Okay, a couple of more of these runners in this race, Tom. And this is a horse you were keen on this night, Igniting up outside of the speed. He was down in grade and comes back to Class 2.
Well, that's the big question here, Mark, with Class 2. He's had 8 goes in the grade. He's finished 2nd, 3rd and 4th. He's never been able to capitalise and win a race in this grade. He's dropped 18 pounds since his last effort. And I thought over the final stages, Paul did it pretty easily. I left him out just with that win record in this grade.
Yeah, I've got him in on a minor line because he can show he has been placed in the, from 3 times from his 8 starts. So, look, I've kept him in on a minor line. The horse is going well, and he has shown a bit of gate speed again in his last couple of starts. He sort of lost his way a little bit, but he just seems to be coming back now.
And our final replay, Paul, is across at Sha Tin. Now, Shining Gem is the horse that we're going to have a look at here. That is him tucked in behind the leader. He's back from the 1,400 metres of this race to the 1,200 this week.
Yeah, so he's coming back here to Happy Valley as well. He has won over the course and distance off a rating of 80 before. He's rated 82, so a reasonably similar rating. Look, he hasn't won this season, but he's a pretty fit horse. He's had 6 goes and has run 2nd in a couple of thirds.
Yeah, I've got him in here. He was a big price last start. He was held up a little bit in the straight, but I thought he stayed on pretty well. You can see him diving through. I'm a Single Man on the rail, goes around at the weekend, so too does Rocket Spade. So I think that was a strong race leading into this.
All right, we'll touch briefly on Silver Fig. It's just hard for him on turf, isn't it?
It is. Look, he's won twice at Sha Tin, Silver Fig. Never won at Happy Valley before, but all his wins, most of his wins have been on the all-weather. So it's just whether he can bring it.
He has been back to the trials. He was okay in that trial, set out the back, finished 8th, but still stayed on.
Okay, your selections for a really good sprint, Paul. Unfortunately, no Handsome Bobo, though.
No Handsome Bobo, so we're going to go with California Rad. I think he'll get his opportunity now. Should be able to slot in there. Kerpenny will be right on the pace. Igniting, I think, found a bit of form again. And Kaying Master from that wide draw, another one that has been quite consistent and can get across. 5, 3, 8 and 7.
5, 9, 3 and 6 California Rad on top, 4-time course and distance winner from barrier number 7 now with the scratch. I think should get a nice run through, and he's been running in some good races. So he's on top ahead of Shining Gem, third last start behind I'm a Single Man. Kerpenny, a course and distance winner. And the other one that goes in is Hong Kong Win. He's yet to have a win course and distance. He only has tried on one occasion, and he did place 4th in that Joe Moreira John Size quick backup. 5, 9, 3, 6.
And the first artist, Satanta, raced under the same name for Tony Gollan, won over 1,200 twice at Eagle Farm and 1,400 metres too prior to arriving in Hong Kong. So that's the focus on 2 races so far, Paul, but outside of them, who else took your fancy?
I quite like a horse who's been downgraded in race number 1, Arlo King. He comes out of a really strong form race behind Packing Victory and Navas 2, so he'll find this a lot easier. Don't mind a horse also, Mike Static, another one who's been downgraded. Side Hero's been consistent. He's been racing pretty well recently. I think Astrologer can bounce back as well. He didn't get the clearest of ones last time, did win 2 starts ago at a massive price as well. And Wealthy Delight might be a bit of a price in the last. He's currently double figures, and blinkers go on him for the first time.
So there you have it, and you can see a breakdown of each and every race outside of the 2 we've focused on here on hkjc.com. Click on audio and video, and indeed, Paul, you can have a look at race 8 and a more in-depth reason why you're tipping the runner.
Yeah, so the runner, I quite like him. I think You're My Everything's going to be the danger, but he's going really well and just got beaten at his last start. Loves Happy Valley. He's finally got a really good draw, barrier number 3. So the runner the best, and then Viva Hunter, he'll need luck from his draw, no question, barrier 12. But that's why we'll get an each way price. I thought it was a really strong win from him when he stepped up to 16.50 for the first time. And the play we're going to do in the runners race with Jolly Goodheart, the runner, You're My Everything, a QQP there in race number 8.
I'll settle with the best in the main race, the January Cup Zabrowski race 4, number 6. I wouldn't want to see too much of a short price come up around him, but I think he can win for Joe Moreira, Casper Founds. Regency Star in the second race for Alexi Bedell and Danny Schum. He's in the second race, and he was a winner 2 starts ago. And the first race with the play Arlo King, V Chevalier and Bulletproof 1, 4 and 8.
Bulletproof in the first, his win off a rating of 49 over the distance he runs over on Wednesday night, being 16.50s off 49 at the moment. Shadow Runner draws nicely down in barrier number 2, was held up last time but made some solid ground when clear. Yet to win in 16 starts, but gets a good draw and will make the play of the day. Race 7, a QQP, 3 Kerpenny, 5 California Rad, and Shining Gem coming back to Happy Valley 3, 5 and 9 in race number 7. So that's a look at the Valley on Wednesday night for Group 3 racing, January Cup night. And then we switch back to Shard 10 on the weekend, Tom.
We do. We've got a good race featuring Master Delight, I'm a Single Man, the Irishman, Rocket Spades. So some more 4-year-old clues coming up, Paul.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? We saw a good 4-year-old win the other day in Packing Victory, and the clues are starting to come together now.
It is indeed. That has been Racing to Win. Enjoy your January Cup night at Happy Valley. On behalf of the team, bye-bye.